Dun 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 dun. I'm over here in the wrong spot. Welcome to another Getting Projects Done. Today we are going to the goals today is to be absolutely done. The Aeldari Corsairs from Forgeworld. They're pretty much like done, but I want to, obviously be done with these, get these off my desk because they're still sitting here. I said last week that I would, basically, finish them off camera. Yeah, I never did that. Just got busy with other stuff, and I'm working through other projects that I'm trying to get done in a timely fashion, and so I just haven't had time to work on them. So it seems that this show is just basically all about me getting my projects done. So in that vein, we are going to continue work on these guys, and they're pretty much done. We're going to basically prepare their bases, and I mentioned last episode that I think I would do an edging on them, and I think I will. Now, mind you, their armor is just here. Let's switch cameras here. Their armor is simply, a metallic and some black on the feet, and that's it, right? And there's not a lot of depth outside of that. But I mean, in natural light, these guys look really, really fun. They're really shiny, glossy, and I have the varying textures on them that I like. I like the glossy armor, the matte helmet, the matte our weapons. They're a lot of fun. But yeah, I think what we need to do is throw on a little bit of edging, and we're going to do that today, and then we're going to finish off the bases, and then we will see where we're at. So to do some edging on top of this metallic red, a few things I could do. I could take a silver, lay it on its edges, and then come back with a clear red on top of it and resaturate the red. I could also take a metallic and add red to it and get something there. But thankfully, other companies out there do provide metallics that are really, really fun. Now, I do have a bit of a what's the word? Quandary? I don't know if it's quandary is the right word, but because I can either go with scale 75s, because they have two great metallics. They have Ruby Alchemy, which is a really good one. It's very, very light, and like I said, I'm only looking to do just a little bit of edging here. I'm just going to catch some of the corners, some of the raised panels, the little padding around, the Eldar, right? They got the little armor plates all over them. So I'm thinking of doing that with some Ruby Alchemy, or what is it, Tourmaline? Yeah, Tourmaline Alchemy. Tourmaline Alchemy it's almost got like an orange hue to it. The camera doesn't quite do it justice, because you can still see a lot of pink color, but yeah. But this is a really fantastic color. What else do I got? Oh, Garnet. Garnet's a kind of a deep one. It's not bad. I don't think I've used Garnet, actually. It's kind of a deep red. Now, these guys are really, really kind of, red, right? But I do want to just pick out some of those little corners, plates, just little odds and ends, just to kind of bring some life to the details, right? So I could use scale 75 for that, or I could go with Turbo Dork. And for Turbo Dork, I have, what do I have? Ooh, we could even go with something fun like this. Bubblegum Crisis. This is kind of a pinkier color, but it's really, really fun. We could go with, no, not that one. Could go with Red Rum, but this might even be darker than what the models are painted. Ghost of Starman Deluxe, monkey painting time. Hee hee, hee hee, hee hee. Yeah, we're gonna try and get some stuff done today. Spicy Meatball. It's a bit lighter, but I think for a highlight color though, I think I will go with the scale 75. Yeah. Ooh, this is a fun one. I never used that one. Miami Sunset. Look at that. That's a fun color. And yeah, color shifts. All right. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we're gonna just use scale 75s. That's all. So, and we're gonna use Ruby Alchemy because it's tried and true, tested. I've tested it many, many times, and you know, it is kind of my preferred way of edging a metallic. Oh, I need to grab a palette. Where's my wet palette? There we go. And of course, everybody knows with a wet palette, the colors stay wet. Actually, it feels a little dry, actually. I'm going to rehydrate my palette really quickly. And for that, all I do is I just grab, I can grab the paper off. Seeing as how I didn't really use a whole lot of the palette last time, pretty much I'll just set those right there. I'm sure that's fine. I just grab an eyedropper and I just rehydrate. And that's basically it. Not too heavy, just enough to resaturate. If you can see through the paper towel, then you know you've obviously oversaturated your base. You really shouldn't see water floating around on your surface of your wet palette, because otherwise that is just going to be just too much moisture on the palette itself. Sorry, I'm trying not to hit other areas where the paint is still kind of wet. All right, got a whole bunch of brushes on the go. Got my wet palette. Need my paint rag, and let's get some work done here. Let's get these guys done. So, I am thinking, yeah, Ruby Alchemy. Here we go. Grab some. Make sure this is all shook up. I'm all shook up. Ooh. No, I'm not going to start singing. I wouldn't subject you to all that. As with all metallic paints, you should always make sure they're thoroughly shook. I need a paint shaker. That's what I need. I was actually looking on, online, like kind of used stuff, and there's also like some other areas around here, like the used stores and flea markets, swap meet, whatever it is. Anyway, for like like an old jigsaw that still works, but I was thinking about picking up a jigsaw and just picking up those clamps, basically just attach it in there, and then just I like that method. It's pretty consistent with how I shake my paint, which is pretty much in this back and forth kind of motion, and a jigsaw would do that and just really, really fast, right? And that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So hopefully some of you out there are working on stuff and painting along. Possibly. And just with these dropper bottles, especially when they have the agitators in them, I always give them a couple taps downward on the table just to make sure that my agitator's not stuck inside the nozzle, because that's annoying. And let's throw a little bit on the palette. Yeah. On the palette, it looks really kind of like rosy, but yeah. All right, let's grab a brush. All right, let's get to work. So, where am I here? So I'm thinking that just like on the edges of the shoulder pads, the edges of the vents, really just kind of anywhere, obviously it's just a corner of something. And that's all we're looking for. I think this is pretty much the same thing I did with my Wraith Knight. If you've ever seen my Wraith Knight, it's kind of painted in this similar fashion. Just like so. it's not a whole lot. See, just a little bit on the corners there. That's really it. It's not a lot. Catch little knuckles. Fingertips. And the chest here, we'll do it by the collar. This model has breasts, so I don't really want to get too much into highlighting them or anything like that, so we'll do just the upper collar part. Now the forearm, it has these kind of guards that move around, so we'll catch those little bits. On the thigh armor, we'll catch it up by the hip. We'll just put a little highlight back there. Yeah. Very, very minimal. Nothing too pronounced. I'm not going into, crazy levels of highlighting here or anything like that. On the wings, yeah, sure, why not? Just a little on the spine here. I don't really think the wings need it, but there it is. It's just a very, very minimal highlight. You can see just up by the collar, along the shoulder pad, on the wrist. You can see just a very, very minimal highlight. Nothing on the feet, as I want those feet dark. Actually, yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm looking at it down here, like away from a lot of the light, and it's still nice and shiny. It still looks nice and metallic-y, but I can see now there's a little bit more depth to the metallics, so I'm happy with that. We're going to stick with that. That's the game plan. That's the game plan for today. We're doing a bit of edging and getting this stuff done. Get her done. And we'll start this backpack here. Hear that little sound in the background? That's my fan going. Sometimes it's nice just to do a project, doesn't have to be too serious. You're not, it's not going to be judged or anything like that. And it's just, something for yourself and, for your own peace of mind, as it were. Yeah, you can see the edging there. I like it. I dig it. Dig it. Dig it, dig it. Come down the wings a bit. Yeah. I didn't really bother painting any of the gemstones or anything like that because didn't really feel like it. I mean, we could. If we got time today, maybe we will. Because I did mention that I'd probably do them in a really fast kind of way, being obviously the technical method. The technical method is actually pretty efficient as far as getting it done, right? Net. Oh, I guess I can do this upper collar part. Yeah, good enough. Yep. Yes. Much better. In fact, let's celebrate. Sip of tea. Earl Grey, of course. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff. Let's grab this guy. Excuse me. Sure, sort of in frame here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This side. Get the rest. The fingiors. Chest. Let's just do it right in the center here. Again, we're not going crazy with our highlights. Corners. That wrist. Fingior. Yeah, that's cool. I like. Yeah. That's it. Just a little bit of edging and we're done. It's nothing terribly complex, but should look pretty cool when they're all on the tabletop. When and if they ever get to the tabletop. When and if they ever get rules updates. I don't know. I don't know what the future is for Eldar Corsairs. They're a big part of, the lore as far as Eldar are concerned. But yeah, who knows if they're going to get updated. I hope they do. I certainly do. This is a lot of fun. You know, when I'm having fun, I forget you guys are even there. I just kind of tune the rest of the world out, and I just enjoy my painting. And that's it. That's all I do. That's all he does. I didn't realize how dusty these guys got, though. A little bit of dust going on. That's what happens when they sit on a shelf for so long. Neglected. Neglected. Just a little edging. That's all it takes. Move some of these guys around. Try and keep my assembly phase area neat and tidy. Try and keep my area tidy. Ghost Starman Deluxe painting Slime Marbo today. Had him primed on my desk for a while. Yeah, Slime Marbo's been around for a bit. Yeah. Did you get your hands on the Carl Weathers kernel? Catechin kernel? Okay, the dust is really starting to bug me. I didn't realize there was this much dust on it. Whoop. Drop on my palette. Did I get any paint anywhere? No, they luckily didn't touch anything. As far as I can tell. Woohoo! Alright. Back at her. Back at her. For me personally, this is also one of those things that I often have difficulty with. This kind of repeating a process and, you know, just kind of knuckling down and just getting it done kind of thing. So it's kind of why I do this stream, because otherwise, like I said in the beginning, I probably wouldn't get this stuff done. It would probably just continue to sit on my desk collecting dust and not get done. But at least now, you know, it's gonna get done. Getting it done. And this little process is kind of blasting by really fast because there's not a lot of places that I'm hitting with highlights, so I can just kind of, you know, quickly move through it. Which I'm fine with. I only want just a little bit of highlight on it. If I was super concerned about, you know, all the details, I mean, obviously I would, you know, take a bit more time with it, but I'm not. Ghost of Starman. There aren't any independent stockists near me for me to pick one of him up, or pick up one of him, unfortunately. Oh. That's too bad. Ghost of Starman, I thought you were in the UK. I assumed Games Workshops were, you know, all over the place. I assumed it was like Starbucks over here. that, you know, every corner has like a Games Workshop store. I guess I was lied to. I was misled. God, these guys are really dusty. It's annoying. Sorry, I'm just dusting them. That didn't really do the trick. Usually I just use like a dry brush and dust the model. I've found in the past that if I use like a damp brush, the moisture would build on the you know, the accumulated schmutz, and you know, would be a problem because you know, it basically would cake on and build up, right? Ghost of Starman Deluxe. We do have a local GW, but the kernel was only available at independent stockist, if I recall. GW showing them support, I guess. Oh, okay. Oh. See, I thought it was like everybody was getting them. I didn't realize it was just the independents. I don't know. I had no interest in the model, so like I wasn't, you know, fired up for it or anything like that. Now here's a question to anybody who may or may not know. The female Catachin, the one that was inspired by the old conversion, was that released? Because I wouldn't mind picking that one up. Was that ever released, or was that just... Because I don't recall. Last couple months are all kind of a haze. This whole COVID thing. Where am I? Ghost Starman. You don't know if it came out yet? No, okay. Alright. Fair enough. I guess it comes out when it comes out. Some of you may or may not notice too that there's some areas that there's paint hit into other spots that obviously shouldn't be paint, but I'm not too concerned about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like these models are getting painted up to be judged or anything. Although, what the hell is that? Something stuck to his shoulder there. I don't know what the hell that is. Let's get it off. Let's get it. There we go. That's gone. Oh. It was a bit of plastic. That's what it was. I was doing some modeling and cleaning up of parts. The modeling of parts. A part modeler, if you will. Oh, chest. Yeah, the little edging helps, doesn't it? I think. It just makes sure that the edges are defined. Sip of tea. Sip o tea. Ah. Jeez Louise. Joints are all cracking, popping. Oh. So, with the plan being that these guys get done today, any thoughts as to what should be next on the chopping block, as it were? Thoughts? Anyone? Bueller? Second, maybe I should get back to work on the Tamiya M41, I believe it was. The Bulldog. The tank. I'm thinking maybe we should get back to work on that one. Or the Gundam. Get back to work on the Gundam. I have not touched that Gundam since the last time you guys saw it. So, yeah. And I'm thinking that, yeah, the only way I'm going to get a lot of these things done is if I'm just filming my process of it and just, going through and just, trying to get it done. Because getting projects done off camera is a challenge. Just, time and all that usual BS. I got this new program for streaming, and the reason I wanted it was because you can stream music while you're playing, right, and doing stuff. Do you think I've bothered to install that on this program yet? No. Oh, what the hell's all this? Who cares? Not important, and yes, I know. Ghost Starman Deluxe, would be cool to see some work on the Gundam. I wasn't able to watch this when you did work on it before. Yeah. Well, it's been, months since I was working on that, and anybody who was watching it, I was still in the sanding phase of it and removing the mold lines and, going through and smoothing off surfaces, and, work was getting done. It's just, there is quite a bit of work because those kits are designed to be right out of the box, put them together, boom, they're complete, they're done, right? Because they cast them in different colored plastics and clears and, rubbers and all these things, right? Really great kits. I love Bandai kits. They're fantastic. And if you want to go to that extra level of, panel lining and stuff like that, there are other products out there to help with that. But if you want to even go further and paint it, and you know what I mean, like, you just got to push it a little further, and yeah, rubbers. Navy Cass, yep, agree. Seeing you work on a vehicle would be cool. Okay. Well, it is the, what is it? The M41 Walker Bulldog. It's a Tamiya kit. I was working on that a few episodes ago. Well, not a few, quite a few episodes ago. And yeah, so it's been a while since I was busting that one out. Oh, and I think the reason why I paused on that one was at the time I wanted to paint the wheels, and I did not have any Tamiya paint. Well, I had Tamiya paint, but I don't have the colors that I wanted, and so I was waiting until I had the colors before obviously continuing on with that one. And I do have the colors now, and I got some more colors. Yeah, I'll show you guys in a moment here. Let me finish this, edging this. But yeah, I picked up some more Tamiya colors because Tamiya paints are fun. And oh, jeez. And yeah, I'm planning on using the airbrush. Anybody who has been, obviously listening to me go on about stuff for any length of time knows that I want to repaint my Space Marine and my Bandai Space Marine, and so I picked up some Tamiya colors for that task, because that's the paints I'm going to use, is the Tamiya colors. I'm not going to use Citadel paints to paint it, which I know is sacrilege, right? But yeah, just because I'm going to use the alcohol-based acrylics, they just have a bit more durability, in my opinion, and it's an action figure, and so I'm going to be farting around with it. If anybody who's been following my work on Instagram or whatever's knows I've been playing with that figure, doing all sorts of stuff, and yeah. But the hard part being is that I do have everything now I want to repaint it, but I've had other ideas of doing stuff, and I didn't do his little head crest thing. Oops. Do that head crest. Get a little edging there. So yeah, I want to do some more work on him as well. Let's catch this little top here. Do this. Do that. Right here. Try not to hit the hair. Yeah. That's better. That's the stuff. Yeah. Just his little just a little edging on his thingy on his head there, and his hair. I think the models, this head is from the Dark Elves, I think. Because Corsairs are supposed to be like a mix of Craftworld Eldar, Exodite Eldar, and Dark Eldar. And so I wanted, different heads, so because I know this head here is from the High Elves, when there used to be High Elves. This was like a chariot rider, I believe, or chariot guy or whatever. And yeah, and the head just looked perfect, it's kind of wind blowing in his hair and everything like that, and he's got this big machine gun, and it just looked the part. And then this head here is obviously a dark elf head again, and I have no idea which kind of head this guy is. I don't know if he's high elf or dark elf. You could tell me one or the other and I'd believe you. I think it's high elf, but could be wrong. This one here is the Dark Eldar. I'm pretty sure that's a witch head. And one of the other heads, I believe, is also a Craftworld Eldar. I think it's one of the ones with the Dire Avenger Exarch. It's that one. Anyway. Go Starman Deluxe. Gotta go refill my water pot. How much water are you going through? Gotta go refill your water pot. Good God, man. Good God. Alright, we need a little more paint on my palette. It's getting pretty sparse in here. Actually, I don't need too much because we're almost done edging these guys. Look at that. What time is it? Holy camole. 40 minutes. 40 minutes of work. Not horrible. Not my best. But not my worst. Sorry, I'm just going to do a little bit more dusting here while I have this brush in my hand. Dust. Dust. Yeah, does anybody know a good dusting method? I've always just used like a dry brush, right? Like just, regular old brush. Very lightly, smooth the brush along the surface and just kind of sweep the dust off, right? Because if it's damp, it can mix with whatever, whatever's sitting on that surface and become, obviously sludge, right? So, I don't know. I can't think of anything that's ideal. Unless, of course, you found something like, like the Swiffers and something like that. But, I mean, I'm sure something like a Swiffer, like the cleanser that's in a Swifter, I'm sure that would pull the paint. I'm sure of it. I could be wrong. And somebody who's already done it, can attest to it. But, yeah. Go. Just a little bit of edging. Just the rim. Just a little bit of rimming. Not much. Color just to kind of cover up some of the little areas that, obviously I made a lot of boo-boos on. Got paint on fingertips, that kind of thing. The hard part, another thing that I've thought of as well as when you are like doing an assembly line kind of painting thing going on, is, sometimes the tendency is to kind of rush through the project. And, obviously that's kind of a big danger, right? Because when we rush, we make mistakes. And we don't want to do that. It's really quite hilarious because you can see like there's a lot of red. And it almost has the appearance of color shift, but it's just because of the haphazard nature in which I airbrushed this initially. But you can see how like it's a really strong red on the surface, right? But if you look at the undersides, you can see there's gold. You see it on the backpack, right? The engine nozzles and stuff. And it looks like it was sprayed with like a color shift, right? But that's not. That's not a color shift. That's because the base of this paint job was gold. It was metallic gold, and then a clear magenta was sprayed on top. And gives you red. I think I've explained that one like 100 times now over the course of these videos. Ghost Starman Deluxe. I find my water pot tends to evaporate fairly quickly. Not sure why, to be honest. Probably because it's sat in my room and it gets quite warm. It's warm in your room, yeah? Well, tis the season for warmth, right? So, Yeah. Tomorrow, gonna be, well, for everybody who's watching this on YouTube, it'll already be after the fact, but tomorrow will be episode 300 of Way of the Brush. Gonna do a giveaway. Anybody who's tuned in right now, yeah, I'll probably make a little post about this. I'll probably post this on, the social medias and stuff, but we're gonna do a giveaway tomorrow. So, yeah, stay tuned. Gonna do a giveaway just as a thank you, and because we haven't done one in so long, and it's episode 300. It's a bit of a milestone. I don't think it's like any kind of official milestone, but yeah, I have been doing this silliness for some time. Yeah, I'm glad we decided on doing an edging. It's fun. Just a simple little edge. Just something simple. Anybody else getting excited for 9th edition? Anybody? Bueller? I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I've enjoyed 8th edition. That's enough of that. Last one. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, the guns are kind of bare. I kind of think I might want to do the gemstones. Just on a few of them. Go Star My Deluxe. Tomorrow will be a long day for me playing D&D in the morning before the show. We're starting at 10 a.m., which means I have to get up stupid early by lockdown standards. Navy Cast, looking forward to 9th. Only got into 40k a few months ago, so I've used it as an excuse to stop learning 8th edition rules. No, I wouldn't stop. 8th edition and 9th edition, it looks like there's like very little difference. Just a few clarifications, So it's not so much, obviously committing everything to memory, but the basic kind of nuts and bolts of it all, I think are pretty much the same, So I don't think you'll hurt yourself if you learn it, or don't. I ain't your mom. Or wait, am I? No. Screw it, paint that. I just nicked it with my brush, but we'll paint it. There. It's painted. We did it. It's done. Sure, my fan is becoming annoying for everybody, especially since it's so quiet because I'm concentrating. But you know what? Too bad. The fan stays on. one thing that I'm kind of really hoping they do during the course of 9th edition 40k is redo the damn Eldar, or expand upon them, or just give us some of the damn kits we've wanted for so damn long. Alright, that's it for the edging. What else were we going to do? Oh, we were possibly going to do the gemstones. The gemmy stones. Yes, let's do them. We're going to do them in a quick fashion. I am going to do them... Yeah, let's do them. Yeah. Oh, jeez Louise. Nope, I'm running over stuff. Let's do it in the typical fashion. Well, sorry, the speedier fashion. Let's grab some... We're going to use some warpstone, waystone green. Yeah, it's still good. Had to make sure it was still good. And I need a silver. Where's my Stormhost silver? Where is my Stormhost silver? I need an organizer. Son of a beehive. Is this it? Yeah, that's it. Alright. Alright. Is this even still malleable? Oh, it needs a good stirring. It needs to be shook for a bit. So we're going to shake these up for a bit. Ghost Starman Ducks. As long as the Gim maintains his iron grip on GW, there will be no new Eldar. There has to be. There has to be. Because you can't have a game of good versus evil, or good guys versus bad guys, and not have any bad guys. It's all good guys? That doesn't make any sense. That's no way to build a universe, especially a game of conflict and warfare. I mean, come on, right? Star Wars doesn't work if the Empire was, good, right? I mean, like if the Empire, went to worlds and, created freedom and jobs, and you know what I mean, and everybody was happy under the, the rule of the Empire. Would the Rebel Alliance even stood a chance, right? They would have just looked like a bunch of, ungrateful terrorists kind of thing, right? And it's, I mean, you could also, make that claim anyway for the rebels, but but I think that's everybody that's a bit of an imperialist out there. All right. Oh, you know what though? We need to. So we need to lay a little bit of black down first. Oh, you know what? I got an easy solution for that. Let's use some. That's not it. Oh, excuse me. This is it. For that, we'll just use some carbon black ink. Something nice and fast, something that'll dry pretty quick. And yeah, this will be good. This will be good. I can already feel it. It's gonna be good. Now I gotta make sure my silver's good. That's better. I hardly ever use this color, so it's like when I opened it, it was like that clear medium inside there. Again, I need a paint shaker. Arms are getting tired. You know what? One trick I usually do when I'm painting and I know I'm going to get to a color soon is I usually, you know what? Let's try this. Let's see if this thing works out. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, it's not bad. I usually put the paint upside down and let it sit. And in fact, this one was okay too. Yeah, this one's got like a lot of medium and stuff sitting there. So I'm going to set this upside down as well. Kind of give me a slow kind of, mixture. All right. So we're going to slap a little bit of this Carbion Black. And we're going to slap this onto the palette. And yeah. Ghost Starman, shaking one paint pot equals spending 5 minutes lifting a dumbbell. You would think so, right? But then, if that were the case, then there would be a ton of modelers who are just jacked looking. And I don't know about you, Ghost. Last time I had a look at the community, there was not a lot of jacked, muscular wargamers. But that's just me. That's just my observation. So anyway, all right. So, all right. Well, I guess I painted myself into a corner now. I guess I'm gonna have to do the chest gemstone because I'm probably just do it green anyway. And yeah, so I'm just gonna do the gemstones. The reason for the black ink is because it kind of just settles into the recesses and it covers, and all I'm looking for with the black ink is that black outline. That's it. It doesn't really have to cover a huge amount and become really opaque. It just needs to give me that outline. That's really all I want. Just like that. Right there. You can still see some of the gemstone poking through kind of thing. Yeah. And that's all I'm looking for. Not looking for a huge amount of coverage. It's more or less just blackline. I could have just done the same thing with like Null oil or something, but why use that if you don't have to? Actually, let's go all the way around. Yeah. You know what? Oh, jeez. Oh, the sword. Damn it. Nice thing about using ink too is that you can just pretty much just draw it right on. Okay, let's put them over here. Let's build in the opposite reverse order. Opposite reverse order? Is that even good? Is that good English? Now, gemstones I can't see, I'm not going to worry about. But I can't see that one, so I am going to worry about it. And like I said, I'm not looking for opaque coverage, even though I am going to use a silver over this. It should be fine. Just the one on the gun and the one on the chest. That's all we're going to worry about. Not going to do a whole bunch of these little gemstones. Sorry, there was a couple points here, the black, that kind of bugged me. I'm just going to cover them over. Since we're looking at it. Do-do-do. messed up. Oh, we made it worse. Oh my. Hello. Oh my. Go. Okay. Let's move some of these guys over. Make room. Make room. Make a room. Go. Flamer. Do one of these gemstones as well. Oh, but when you do one, you can't just stop with one. It's like Lay's potato chips. Bet you can't have one. I don't know who's making that bet, but there we go. Yeah. Fun, fun, fun. Druso 57 TV. Eldar? Yes, Eldar Corsairs. These are a Forgeworld kit. They actually have like a laser gun, but in the old rules you could equip them with shuriken catapults, so I equipped them with shuriken catapults because in 8th edition they are pretty fun as opposed to las guns. Las guns get a bit more range, but I like when you roll a 6, getting the higher AP. Or better AP, I should say, not higher. But yeah. And these guys have little jetpacks so they can fly around, zip around, and, you know. Druso, very good painting. Very verty. It's like Swedish Chef. Verty. If there's any Swedes out there, I'm sorry. Oh, I hit that gun again. Frick. Alright, that's it for the black. Let's move on to the silver. Hopefully this is kind of mixed now. Very Very vert. Very vert. So we're going to use some Stormhost Silver next. We're going to paint over those gemstones. This way is the GW technical method. And, you know, it gives a really nice result. For if you were doing, you know, gemstones for, you know, like you're doing it for display or competition type standards, you really wouldn't use this method. But going for a fast tabletop, yeah, this method, it yields good results. Drew So 57. Sorry, I speak English quite well. I'm French. Yeah, no problem. I was just teasing. Don't take it personally. I tease. I kid. Alright. Is this mixed now? Oh yeah, that looks a lot better than it did before. It looked really goofy before. It's really thin too. This is good stuff though. I think this silver is probably, well, I mean, imagine, is there a new version of this silver? Or is the silver this only version? I can't remember. The names of the paints have changed a few times in the last couple of years. Anyway, let's grab some of the silver slappy-voo onto our palette. You know, I'm gonna leave it upside down just to let it continue to mix. Oh, excuse me. All right, let's start with this guy, and we will build in the opposite direction. The wet palette's kind of thinning the color out quite a bit, though. Oh no, it's covering well. I was a little worried I wasn't going to cover well, but no, it's covering well. As well as any metallic from G-Dub's covers. Yeah, there we go. So it's just a little quick little spot of silver on top of where I laid that black out. And the black, like I said, I wasn't worried about the coverage being opaque or anything like that. I was just looking for that outline, right? Oop. So, carry on. Let's get her done. Yep, we can't see that stone. Now, GW has the technicals that are like intended for this purpose, but pretty much any clear color will achieve a similar result. You can pretty much use the contrast paints in a similar fashion as this. And what we're going to do here. So as you can see, it's as simple as that. Just laying that little spot of silver in there. And then we move on to the next phase. And when you're doing assembly line stuff like this, you know, it's just kind of working through your process, you know. Yeah, the wet palette though really thins the metallic down. Drew, so I like Warhammer too. Me too. How many times have you played Warhammer? Well, Warhammer 40,000. How many times? I've been into this hobby since 1988. So, and I've played a lot when I was younger. But I've had breaks here and there from the hobby, you know, when I was between girlfriends or starting a family or, you know, new jobs or anything like that, right? Real life. But I've always gravitated back towards this as, I don't know, it's just I have a lot of fun with it, you know. The universe is fun. Where am I going? Oh, this way. I don't even know which way I'm laying my own things out anymore. Let's go this way. Let's move these over so I know which way is done. Yeah, so I've been in this hobby for a long time. I've been painting, you know. Well, that's really what got me into this was the painting of these little soldiers. And when I was a young fella, I used to love my Star Wars action figures, my G.I. Joes, and, you know, all that stuff. And it seems like, you know, it's a natural kind of progression for anybody to, you know, gravitate into this hobby from that universe kind of thing, right? You know, the kids who were into sci-fi or Lord of the Rings or, you know, so that's pretty much it. But yeah, so I've been, how many times have I played? Couldn't tell you because I've played so much. Since Rogue Trader, I've played. Mind you though, I didn't play a lot during 4th edition. I didn't play a lot during 4th edition, and it wasn't until Apocalypse started rolling around that I actually kind of got more into 40k again. And then during like 6th edition, I was playing a lot more War Machine from Privateer Press. I was playing more of that. Just because, you know, I like the tactics of it and the gameplay. The game used to play really well. It wasn't perfect, but, you know, it was fun. It was a challenge. I think that's the other thing too, is Warhammer at that time. The challenge was carrying around all your frickin' rule books. Whereas now with 8th edition and 9th edition coming, you know, it's much easier to go and pick up and play kind of thing, and I like that aspect of it. I like the streamlining of the rules. Some people say it's dumbing down. I don't know. I think saying that is a shortcut to thinking. I don't know about a dumbing down of the rules. It is at times a simplification of the rules, but rules don't need to be overly complex to have a fun game. In fact, a lot of times, games that have really overly complex, overly complex rules tend to be quite dry and boring. You know, and you can't say, you know, the simpler game can't have rich tactics, because the game in which all of these games kind of share roots with is chess. And chess has such simple rules and yet endless tactics and possibilities. And so, you know, when people go on about, you know, the dumbing down, the changing, it's usually just because it stems from an unwillingness to change. That's usually what it is. Which I don't quite understand either, because, you know, every time they introduce a new faction or, you know, something along those lines, you're changing the game. You know. But some people are just naturally inclined, you know, doom and gloom kind of thing, right? I've got silver paint on my fingers. Where did that come from? Did I get it on my models? I don't see it. Anyway. Yeah. Oop. Druso, I'm afraid I can't really give you a good answer to that question. Because I do not even know. 1,000 times? There's a lot more in my youth as well. A lot more. Play with my buddies all the time. Weekends and stuff. We'd play other games as well, but 40K was in there. D&D, like Talisman. Used to have a lot of fun. Used to have some laughs. Just a few laughs. Not too many. Just a few. Oh, I got a little overly aggressive when laying down this black on this gun. Oh well. Individually, you know, you look at your mistakes and go, oh my gosh, you know, but as a whole, nah, not really. Not too worried. My hand got a little shaky there for a second. I was reaching at a funny angle. Not haha funny. There we go. So, silver's laid down. Next is to grab some, what is it? Waystone? Waystone green? Some Waystone green. And we're just gonna hit these gemstones with this, and that'll be it for the gemstones. And then we can quickly put a color on the base. Probably use a technical on the base. And then paint the rims. Although I don't doubt we'll do that in 40 minutes because I'm going to use what should I use for base? I was just thinking of Grillian Earth. I can't really recall what I've got on my other bases. I think all my other bases are kind of just static grass though. I don't know. I think it's Grillian Earth. I'm going to say it's a Grillian Earth. Alright. This should be mixed. Yeah, it looks pretty good. We're going to slap a little bit onto the palette, and then we're going to quickly move through this and call it a day as far as these paintings are concerned. Now, when applying this stuff, I don't know if anybody's ever used this stuff before, but it's really fun. It's easy, and if you've never done it, give it a try. You might actually like the way this looks. And of course, this doesn't just have to be on gemstones. It can be on anything that you kind of want this transparency to be on. Basically, the way I always use it is when I apply it, I finish my brush stroke in an upward direction to the stone so that the color builds at the top of the stone. And that gives you sort of that look of typical gemstones where, you know, obviously the deeper colors above and the lighter colors down below, that kind of thing. And with this stuff, you do want to apply it fairly generously. obviously, but in a very controlled fashion. And that's it. It's kind of like a color mixed with art coat. That's what this kind of feels like when you're using it. Yeah, there we go. More on top of that. And that's it. See? Quick little gemstones. And they have a nice little glow to them, and you know, they look the part. You know, it's nothing overly complex about it or anything like that. And we didn't spend hours and hours trying to, you know, create highlights and, you know, things of that nature. We just simply grabbed this paint, applied it. I think the water, though, is having an effect from the wet palette. I think it's overly thinning the color a bit. Normally, whenever I play with this color, it's usually just straight out of the pot. I'm finding it's not really moving as nicely as it usually does. You can see like there's quite a bit on my brush here. And just touch and move. Touch and move. That doesn't sound right. That's what we're doing. Trying to get more of the paint to gather at the high point of the stone. So it gives me a bit deeper color above there. Just giving that impression of depth. I'm going to try it right out of the pot. Normally I don't like doing this. I always prefer to work from a palette, but with some of these technicals, if you're really kind of fast about it, you can just work right out of the pot with it. I'm just going to quickly just move my palette aside here. I'll just put it right here. Jeez. It's a lot sitting here. Stay open. Let's grab a little gather on my brush. Yeah, see, that's flowing a lot better. I think the water was overly thinning it. Wish the lid would stay up though. Shouldn't have the paint pot too open though. I usually advise people not to do this kind of thing when painting, because obviously you can dry out your bottle of paint. But in a pinch, you know what? The last three here, I'm going to do differently, just to show. I'm going to grab a contrast. Let's grab, what's the green? Oh, jeez. Gotta be careful not to crush things here. What's the bright green? Waystone? Warp Lightning, that's it. Let's use Warp Lightning. Now, the Gemstone technical here, the this Waystone, this, when it dries, it has like a glossy finish, whereas the contrasts do not. So we might actually have two processes. So this kind of just saves you a step, essentially, because you can lay the color down and then hit it with a gloss and it looks like a nice shiny gemstone, versus this and then having to come in with an ard coat afterwards. But this may give us a bit more color depth and, you know, a bit more richness. I'm gonna make sure this is thoroughly shook here. So I usually hold it up to the lights to see if I can see to the bottom, and yeah, gotta give it a little bit of a shake, a shakeroo. All right. So I'm gonna use some warpstone, or what is it? Warp lightning, warpstone glow. Not too much. And we'll do it in a similar fashion. We'll finish the brush stroke at the high point where we want the color to intensify. And already I'm much happier with this on top of the metallic, giving you that gemstone-y kind of look. See how nice and dark that is? But it still shows lots of green. See the shine inside of it? Yeah, I like that look a bit more. Let's grab that one. Again, I usually don't like working right from the pot like this, but screw it. Again, I'm trying to finish the brush stroke where I want the paint to get darker. So on the gemstone, like on the chest, I always try to finish it in an upward stroke. Now when this stuff dries though, it'll dry kind of semi-gloss. Or not, it'll be semi-matte, I should say. It's more matte than it is gloss. Whereas this stuff, what was the first one's done? This row was the first? Yeah, I think this row. No, this row was first. Because this should be dry. Yeah. And you can see this, well, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's, you can see how the lights are shining off the gemstone. That's because it finishes with a gloss. Right? Whereas this is the first one I did with the contrast on the left. And you can see how a bit of the shine is lost. Right? So I'm going to come back over them with ard coat. Technical ard coat. Sound Jamaican when you say that. Technical ard coat. Mon. Go Star Man Alex. Have you used Militarum Green Contrast Chris? Contrast Chris? Yes, I have. I think I did a video when I was painting Flames of War. Flames of War? Yeah. It was one of the small 15mm duders. And that one I used Militarum Green. Anyway, I find it always has a light blue layer of pigment settled at the bottom. Yep. But you just make sure you shake your paint pot up. Yeah, there's lots of paints. Any of the paints that have a lighter finish, that, you know, finish pretty light, they will have like a white pigment in them. Oh God, it was cold. Yeah, like for example, I can grab any color. Oh, the gray, the Space Wolf gray color. Yeah. So the Space Wolf gray color, you can see, you know, it's that blue gray, but look at the bottom, right? But we just give this some shakes, right? Not there yet. That's why it's always very important to shake your paints. Yeah, you can see on the edges there, starting to come away now. So I always kind of shake them like upside down, right? So that the air pocket is moving along here and sloshing along this surface, and, you know, getting that pigment to move and mix. But yes, that's a nature of a lot of paints, you know, metallics, right? The acrylic binder sits on the surface and all the metal sits on the bottom, and you know what I mean? Like, all paints are going to do that. Why? Because everything is subject to gravity. Gravity pulls on everything. Yeah, see? You just got to keep shaking it. That's why I want a paint shaker, man. But yeah, Militarum Green does this. This color does it. Apothecary White does it. There's a few colors that do it. But anyway, you get my point. Sweet nausea. No, wait. Ghost Star Deluxe. Being sat here for 5 minutes trying to get it to mix properly. Maybe my technique isn't good enough for shaking the paint pot. Well, like I said, like whenever I'm shaking a paint pot, I'll shake it this way so that that air pocket is moving this way along the paint pot, or I'll shake it upside down so that the air pocket is moving like this along the surface, right? So I'll give it a shake. No, don't squeeze it, and don't be ridiculous with it. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're afraid of the lid popping off, just hold your thumb, against the lid, and you just, give it a good shake, right? You don't squeeze it, and you know what I mean? Like, just nice, easy, but you just, move your hand nice and fast, and that sounds like I'm describing something else entirely. But anyway, yeah. Sweet nausea. Duncan recommends using a small stainless ball bearing to break up paints like that. Sure, totally. In this game, we call it an agitator, right? It's a paint agitator. And yeah, you can use glass beads. You can use stainless steel. Do not use anything that's going to corrode, like BBs, like copper bearings. Sometimes you got to be careful with the chrome plated stuff because the chrome plating can come off. So yeah, I've always recommended metal bearings, like stainless steel ball bearings. Anywhere from 5 millimeter. I really would not go any bigger than 5 millimeter. But as of late, I've actually come to appreciate more of the glass agitators, and you can find them. They're just just look up 5 millimeter glass balls or bearings, and they wouldn't be bearings, but yeah. But yeah, you can just look those up. All right, we're just gonna use some hard coat or ard coat. Anyway, and we're just gonna hit these gemstones because yeah, there's no luster on them anymore. So ba-dunk, 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 and ba-dunk. Yeah, there we go. Now it is not as nice as using that technical, but it gets the job done. And I just wanted to see it like a side-by-side comparison. Yeah, you can see like the gemstones is a lot more matte now, right? Versus using the technical beside it. The technical's on the right and the contrast is on the left. And you can see it finishes with a bit of a matte, whereas the technical, you see it's shiny. Anyway. I'm sure everybody really cares, but and the thing is that a paint typically should finish with a gloss instead of a matte because it's easier to matte down a finish as opposed to trying to gloss up a finish, especially when it is it finishes with a matte and you're trying to gloss it up. It just oftentimes is not the same look. I don't mind glossy paints at all because I know that I can always matte that effect down versus it finishing really matte, like really, really matte, and then trying to gloss it back up. It just often doesn't look the same, and it often has a very kind of frosty kind of look to it. And I don't care for it. Personally, I don't care for it. No term, I don't. All right, gemstones are done, edging's done, so let's get to the bases. But first, the bases I am going to use. I'm going to use a Grillian Earth for applying onto the bases. Where's my Grillian Earth? There's a Grillian Earth. Yeah, we'll use a Grillian Earth because I'm pretty sure that's what I was using on a lot of my newer models. And so I'm pretty sure that's what I've been using is a Grillian Earth. But before I lay that down, I'm going to put a layer of I don't know. What color's Grillian Earth? That's kind of that color. Let's say, yeah, screw it. We'll just use Mournfang Brown. Mournfang Brown? Yeah, Mournfang Brown. So I'm going to use Mournfang Brown first, and then lay the Agrillian Earth down. Mournfang, just because when the Agrillian Earth breaks up and cracks, I want there to be, brown in there rather than, seeing the black bases, right? So, give it a good mix. I'm going to need my palette here in a moment. Grab my palette. And we shall begin. Boom, 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 boom. Time we at here? Oh, okay, we got time. We might get to the end of the bases. And yes, they are going to have green rims, because everything in my army has green rims. Believe it or not. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Well, use this brush here. Ghost Starman. I find Baneblade Brown is a fairly good color match for Agrillian Earth. Yeah, I'm not trying to match it. I'm just looking for a value under it, so that when the cracks appear, I'm not left with a black base underneath. I have actually a brown underneath. So it's kind of a shadow. So I'm not looking to shade these afterwards or put a shade wash on them. I'm just going to Agrillian Earth them, maybe dry brush them. Who knows? But yeah. But that's it. I'm not too worried about the rim at the moment. I'm just more concerned with the flat surface here. I'm not worried about the coverage either, because again, this is like going to show very minimally on the surface. So I'm not too concerned about, getting flat, even coverage. I'm looking to just get it done. Get her done. Try not to touch the model. Okay, I just said I wasn't concerned about getting flat, even coverage, and here I am kind of putting a second layer down, but but yeah. Anyway. Actually, maybe I'll just grab a generous amount of paint and just move that around. That should be fine. Also, the other benefit of, applying a layer of color before applying your technicals is just in case you aren't able to get into any little nooks and crannies, you don't have to worry so much, because you can just simply layer a little bit of paint down and not have to worry about knocking into the model, especially if you want to do a nicer paint job on it. Just those kind of things. Toe. It's okay. I think the other big one too is, when you're doing this kind of stuff and you're just moving through your project, feel free to forgive yourself of any kind of little mistakes as well. You don't have to be so hard on yourself. If you make the boo-boos. It seems like everybody's so afraid to make a mistake these days. No, it's got to be perfect. That doesn't exist, my friend. Perfection is not real. It's an idea, and it can be poisonous to your brain. More. Bit more, bit more. Ha! Son of a gun. Drop it in. Trying to maneuver him with my feet. Probably getting all sorts of paint on my toes. I was a little fluffy on him now. Oh well. Again, not too worried. Unless, of course, it looks like a big pube. I don't want that. I don't need that on my models. Unless, of course, I actually want it there, but I don't. I don't need pubes on my models. There we go. Yeah. And that's all we're doing with this color is we're just laying this down so when the Agrilian earth crackles and breaks up, we're seeing a color down there rather than just, you know, black base or something like that. Or your primer if you primed it, you know, white or gray or whatever's. Of course, you can use this kind of idea to maximum effect by, you know, painting bright colors underneath, you know, like yellows and oranges, and let the crackle occur, and it gives you kind of a lava, broken earth kind of look, right? All sorts of ways you can use crackle mediums to achieve interesting effects. Excuse me. Yeah, so all I'm doing is I'm just taking a somewhat generous amount of paint and just moving it across the surface. Not too worried about smooth, even coverage. No, almost out of paint. Gonna need some more. Just another drop of paint. Good. Then we can begin to the final phase. Don't ask what that sound is I'm making. Because I do not know. I have no idea if I'm even in frame when I'm doing this. I have not been paying attention to my camera. Last half hour could have been totally off frame and nobody able to see anything going on. Go start man, Alex. What is that sound you're making? I don't know. I'm just making noise. My brain needs the distraction. Last one. Then we can start laying in some Agrilian earth. Agrilian? Is that how you say it? Agrilian? Grelian? Grail? Grailian earth. Good old Grailian earth. There we go. All right, that's that. Okay. I don't think we really need the wet palette for this next phase, so I'm going to get it out of my hair. Not out of my hair, but I mean, out of the way. There we go. Next, we need, there we go. That was a big stretch. Those bases should be done. So I'm going to get a little bit more space between everybody here so that I don't end up mucking anything up. Yes, this does seem a little needlessly organized, but it's the way I operate, man. Don't try and change me. All right. Do I have any tea left? No, I do not. Damn it. Boo earns. Boo earns. Time we got here. Holy cramoles, we only got 10 minutes left. Okay, well, we're going to quickly try and get this done in 10 minutes. Try not to speed through it, though. But we're going to try and get this done here. I'm going to slap this Agrilian earth down and then let it dry, and that'll be it for the day. And then it's just simply wait till they're dry, do the rims, and these guys are done. So, that will probably get done off camera. Even if I don't get it done, we're done with these guys for now. I've got another 12 to do, but yeah. So, it's Agrilian earth time. Grab our texture tool. I'm just using the GW texture brush, right? It's got this nice little spatula and it's got a nice little thin end on it. Highly recommend, you want to get one. Yes, there's many tools out there that'll do the same thing, but, it's already designed to accommodate. It's got grip, and, whatever. If you're going to buy it, you're going to buy it. If you're not, you're not. I'm not selling anything. It's not like I get a cut of profits or anything like that, so what do I care? And then really quickly here, we're just going to pat this down and be really generous with how we apply it around the base. Yeah, grab a little bit more. So when I work this in, I usually just do this kind of patting motion. Just so that, you know. Yeah. Now, if you really want lots of crackles, apply this pretty generously. Oops, hit the foot. Screw it. Screw it. But yeah, I usually just apply it in this kind of haphazardly motion. It leaves that little bit of texture in there so that when it does dry, anywhere that's really kind of high and thick, that's where you're going to get lots of crackles. And of course, you know, applying it in this fashion will make sure that you get a nice little random pattern going on, right? Of course, you could just go ham and just lay a great big glob down, right? But I don't really recommend that. I don't recommend going ham. Please don't. Or actually grab a lot there, Jesus. Oh, I hate when I hit the feet too. Oh, dang it. So you can see it's quite a bit you use to do up a base, but do it right, it looks good. And it's kind of hard to argue with the results. So why not, right? I'll just keep this stuff from Starman. Never go full ham. That's right, you never go full ham. I'm just giving this a shake again, just, you know, because leaving it open, you know, slowly dries stuff out. Not too worried about it. Go start unless you're a pig, I guess. Unless you're a pig. That's right. Never go full ham unless you're a pig. That makes perfect sense to me. Again, though, because I have a whole bunch of these guys to get done, I'm not too worried about any little boo-boos or anything like that. Let the chip... Oh, I forgot a spot there. I was going to say, let the chips fall where they may, but nope. Gotta fix that up. Ugh. Ooh, that's a big glob. concentrating right now. I'm just quiet. I realize, but I'm thinking hard. There we go. Okay, halfway there. Time we at? Oh, we got 4 minutes left of the show. I'll give this a shake. Again, I'm just giving it a shake just so that, anything that might have dried or whatever gets mixed around and diluted, as it were. You can see I'm laying a lot of this down. That's because I want to make sure I get lots of deep cracks and stuff. Deep, real deep black. Last row, and then we're done. Time here, 1 minute 2. Oh, we're almost done the show today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Hopefully you got some of your projects done while sitting around listening to me jabber on about stuff or babbling incoherently. Whatever it was I was doing today. Yeah. We're almost open. Oh no! Did I just touch that model? broad end. No, I didn't. I hit it on the damn wing. Son of a beehive. Ugh. I made a boo-boo. It's okay. Anybody who sees it goes, oh, I remember that time you were doing your models and you made the boo-boo. Yeah, I made the boo-boo. Boo-boo, boo-boo. There we go. Let's get a bit more. It's probably too much. Who cares? Because we're grilling up this earth. Normally I would kind of go around and wipe the rim, but I'm not worried about that either. If I really want to clean those edges up afterwards, I can just come in and, you know, blade it off, sand it, whatever. I'm not overly concerned about it. Last dude. And then this is it. This is going to be the last time you guys are going to see these guys for a bit, unless you see them in a game. Of course, I could take them in some kill team, I suppose. Is Corsairs in kill team? I don't even know. Been meaning to play some more. I know I need to get some more battle reporting done. And in fact, I have plans soon enough. There we go. That's it. Done. It's like frosting a cake. Oh, I got paint all over my fingers. Looks like I don't have any toilet paper left or something. I know. Gross, right? Reminds me of when my kids were small. Anyway. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. We got these Corsairs pretty much done. I just got to do the rims, but I can't do that until that acrylic inert dries. So I'm not going to worry about that. And yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Go Starman Deluxe. Just paint the whole model with acrylic earth. I'm sure nobody will notice. Well, were you watching Way the Brush like last time? And Buddy had used the crackle medium. I don't know if it was acrylic earth, but he used crackle medium on the flesh, and it gets that scaly kind of look. I thought that was a really great idea. That was really fun. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Big thank you to all my patrons. Without your support, these videos would not be possible. So huge thank you. And if you're considering Patreon support, go to waythebrush.com and yeah, all that other jazz. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I do stream this live Fridays on Twitch, usually in the 12 p.m. area, but it could be at any time, and you know, what have you. So yeah. Ghost Armor Deluxe wouldn't look as cool if you just slapped it all over though. Like, yeah, like over the entirety of the model, yeah, that would look kind of crap. But if you were selective, like, you know, for example, imagine like a Space Marine, and you did it on the broad parts of the armor and did like the trim smooth, but like on the, you know, on the main pauldrons, you know, they have a slight crackling, and I think that'd be cool. You couldn't use like Grilling Earth though. Grilling Earth kind of dries, kind of crack, like big cracks. I've played with like, you know, Vallejo's crackle medium, and that does like it almost looks like shattered glass. That's how it looks when it dries, usually. Anywho, I'm gonna let those dry. Ooh, we already got some cracks occurring here. Hold on, let's switch cameras here. We've already got, this is the first guy done, and you can see cracking is starting to occur. You can already see it. Oh, too close. Yeah. There you go. So cracks are already beginning to occur. Already beginning to occur. Alrighty, I'm done. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Get some projects done. Get some painting. Or, you know, hug a loved one. Do something nice for somebody. Whatever it is. Be a force of positivity in this world. Because Lord knows we got enough freaking negativity flying around. Anywho, I'll see you guys later. Get your projects done. And enjoy the rest of your day. I was about to stop it right there. I usually just go it this way. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. I still need theme music. I gotta bug my brother.